Alright, let's just get this started. Alright. Alright, what is up, calculus students? We're just gonna get straight into this. Um, you know, power rule could be easy, hard. Alright, whatever. Let's get into this. So remember, this x has like a 1 right here, and all we're gonna do is multiply this to there. So it's gonna be 1 times 4, which is just 4, and then, and then you subtract 1 from the top, and that's x to the power of 0, and we know x to the power, anything to the power of 0 is just 1. And if you ever wondered why that is, if you don't want to know and you don't care, you just want to see the problems, skip ahead like 20 seconds maybe. But the whole reason for this is, imagine we had, I don't know, like 2 to the power of 0. Well, this is the same thing as 2 to the power of -1 times 2 to the power of negative, or just +1. So when we have a fraction, you add them up. So this is the same thing as saying 2 power 1 over 2 to the power of -1, right? And this is the same thing. Sorry, that was not supposed to have a negative. And then that's the same thing, right? Because right here, if we were to add that, that would be 0. This is just 1. So yeah, if you ever wanted to know. So then our answer here for number 1 would be just 4. But remember, you want to write y prime is equal to 4. So right here, we have a 1 in the front. Just imagine it. You never write it, because why are you going to write 1? But you're going to multiply that to the front, and then that's going to get you 2, and you subtract 1 from the top, and it's going to get you x to the power of 1. Or y prime is equal to 2x. Alright, same thing right here. Did I copy the same thing? I'm not going to lie. Alright, number 2. Sorry, that was supposed to be number 2. Sorry, that was number 3. I really messed this up. Anyways, number 2 should have been 3, and 3 should have been 2. Anyways, same thing. Multiply 2 right there. That's damn, I messed up bad. Alright, hold up. This number 2 is supposed to be 4x to the power of 5. Yeah, I know. Yell at me, I don't care. 5 times 4 is 20. Minus 1, just write down the x again, to the power of 4. Wow. Got me thinking over here. 4, boom. Multiply, what do you get? -8. Put down the x, minus 1 on top. Boom, that's it. That's it. Just don't forget to write y prime. Do not want to forget that. Right here, number 5, same damn thing. Same thing. Just multiply, you get 12, and then this is minus 1, x to the power of 3. Y prime is equal to 12x to the power of 3. This one, same thing. Right here, multiply, boom, 4x, and then minus 1 on top, 3. If you need to slow down the video, go ahead, but I don't see why I should. Right here, but just multiply. 4 times 2 is what? 8. Then write down the x, then subtract 1 on top, 3. Right here, same thing. 3 times 4 is equal to 12. Subtract 1 on top, and that's 2. 9. You multiply this. 2 times -2 is equal to -4. Subtract 1 on top, that just gives you 1. 10. Multiply this. And I'm just gonna get 5 times -5, which is -25x, and then subtract 1 on top, the power of 4. Let's just keep going. That was a terrible 4. Alright, right here, you're just gonna do it to both of them. So I'm gonna start writing y prime. So you do 5x, right here, you get 5x, and then subtract 1, you get 4. Minus, and then you multiply there, you get 12, and then minus 1. Forget to write your x, and 3 minus 1 is just 2. And that should be your answer. I don't know if I'm gonna circle it for you guys, but I don't know. Multiply 5 right there. Same thing as saying 5x, and then just subtract right there. It's 4. Minus, multiply by 3 in the front. 3x, subtract 1 on top, 2. Let's keep moving on. Right here, you multiply 5 to the top. So what this is going to look like, you might have trouble with this, and I understand if you do. I have 1 over 4, and you're going to multiply by 5. And then you still have the x. Right, but we'll worry about that afterward. We're just worrying about the front. This is going to look like a 5 over 4. Right, that's all we did. With the exponent and the 1 over 4, that's all we did. And we bring the x, and then, you subtract by 1 to the power of 4. And in the other one, there's an imaginary 1 right there. Well, not imaginary, it's there, but we just never write it. 1 times 5, it's just 5. Subtract the 1, and that's going to be 0. X to the power of 0. Anything to the power of 0 is just 1, so it's 5 times 1, which is y. We're just going to leave it as 5, which is that. Right here, this is the same thing as saying 2 over 3 times 5, alright? And we haven't wrote down the x, but let's just write that. So then y prime. So this is this being multiplied by that, alright? So y prime is equal to 2 over 3 times 5, like I wrote over there. So that's 10 over 3 and x, and then subtract 1 right here. That's 4. Now, the other one. This is the same thing. Imagine there's a 1. This is the same thing as saying negative 3 times negative 1. What is that? That's just positive 3. And then you have x, and then you subtract 1 from top. So it'd be negative 4. So then we write 3, but this x to the power of 4 right here, this is going to go down. So it's going to go like this. A C. And that's it. Literally it. If you still don't get it, we're going to keep on practicing. So this is the same thing as saying negative 3 right here. There's a 1. X, and then squared because minus 1. Minus, and then 2. So y prime is equal to, damn, like that. Let's see what else. This will be 20. This is going to be negative 3. So y prime, and then subtract 1, that's going to be 4, that's going to be 2. So then 20x to the power of 4 minus negative 3 x to the power of 2. It's that simple. This one, almost the same thing. Imagine there's a 1 and you multiply it, that's going to be negative 5 over 2 times 1. It's going to be negative 5 over 2 for the first one. And then negative 3, right, times 3. So you go to negative 9. So then you're going to have these two. So for the first one, we're going to put negative 5 over 2. Oh, y prime. So you go to negative 5 over 2. The x disappears because 1 minus 1, 0. Then minus, because we got negative 9, x, and then negative 3 minus 1, which is just negative 4. So then we got to bring this down. I should have just said that, so I didn't have to rewrite it, but whatever. Negative 9. But then this just goes down. Just bring it down. And then, what do we have here? Okay. So we multiply 3 on top, so that's the same thing as saying 3 over 2 times, I don't want to write an x because that might look confusing, times 3 is equal to 9 over 2. So we have y prime is equal to 9 over 2 x, and you just subtract 1 on top and you get 2. For the second part, multiply by negative 5, so you get negative 5, and then you subtract 1, you're going to get negative x to the power of negative 6. But when we rewrite that, you're going to get negative 5 over x to the power of 6. Just like that. Man, I should write this in a different color, shouldn't I? Let's do red. Let's see if that looks any better. So we're going to multiply by 4. Oh, that might look better. 16 x, and then subtract 1. which is going to be 3. And then that's our first part. And then negative 1 times negative 2 is equal to 2. And then just bring the x and then subtract 1. That's going to be negative 2. So y prime is equal to 16x to the power of 3. This number is a positive, so it's plus 2. And remember, when it has a negative exponent, we move it. Sorry, I don't know why I wrote that. Boom. Okay, so then multiply, that's the same thing as saying 4 over 3 times negative 4, which is equal to negative 16 over 3. Then subtract 1, and that's the same thing as saying x to the power of negative 5. We'll rewrite that right now, though. For the second part, you do that, and you get negative 5x, and then subtract 1, and you get negative 6. So we just do y prime. We get this, the whole thing, negative 16 over 3, and then we plug in our x. But the thing is, the x is going to go to the bottom because it's negative. And the other one, minus 5x, so minus 5, and then the x to the power of negative 6, again, goes down. 21. So we got that. So that's the same thing as saying 5 over 4 times 5 over 4, which is equal to 25 over 16. And then we subtract 1. Now this, oh, what the hell was that? This might get a little confusing. So when you subtract 1, if you don't know, I'm going to just go over it really quick. If you don't care, you just want to see the problem, skip over it. But if you don't know, you're going to want to watch this. So this right here, 5 over 4 minus 1. You can't just do like minus 1 because imagine over here. I'm going to do it really quick over here. Imagine we had, I don't know, 3 over 2. You subtract 1, right? You subtract 1. You're not just going to do 1. You're not just going to do minus 1 over 1. I'll explain why. And then 2 over what is it? 1? Yeah. Alright, look. We're going back to all the way to like 3rd grade. 3 over 2 is the same thing as saying as having a pie, and there's 2 parts, and then you have another pie, but you have only 1 piece of this one. And this one you have 2 other pieces. And it makes sense. This is 3 2. This is 3 over 2. Right here. You have 1, 2, 3 pieces out of 2. Right? So this is the same thing as saying 1 over 2 plus 2 over 2. Right? And let's say we had one whole pie. One whole pie. Right here. Right? Pretend this is the same size as those. I don't care. It's one whole pie. And you subtract 1. Like we did right here. Like you said. Like some people might want to. If this is truly 1 pie, and we go like that, we have half a pie left. But what did we get when we subtracted over here by just 1 over 1? 2. Do we have 2 pies? No. We have goddamn half a pie left. So, when we do 3, or in this example, we have, what do we have over here? We have 5 over 4. 5 over 4 minus 1. We want this 1 to turn into 5. Or no, sorry, don't listen to me, I just said something stupid. We want it to be cut into the same amount. So we want it to be out of 4, right? We want it to be out of 4. So we're gonna make it 4 out of 4, right? We want it to be the same as the denominator. So when you do this, you get 1 over 4. And it makes sense when you go over here. You do 3 over 2, you subtract by 2 over 2. Guess what? You're left with the half pie that we said. It's that simple. So 5 over 4 minus 1 is 1 over 4. So we have x to the power, and we did this over here, which is to the power of 1 over 4. And for the other one, negative 2 times 5 is negative 10. then x minus 1, negative 3. And then for the other one, we have 3 times negative 5 is negative 15. By the way, I didn't mean to write this plus there. The minus is right there. If I added the plus, it would be the same thing. Same thing. Right here, we minus 1, right? And you get power negative 6. So, y prime is equal to 25 60x to the power of 1 over 4. Um, we have minus 10 x to the power of 3 minus 15 to the power of x to the power of 6. This one, we get like a little break, a little easy one. 4 times 1 is 4x, and then minus 1. Just gonna get power of 3. Right here, negative 2 times negative 3. It's gonna give you positive 6x. Whoa. Let me go back. Right here, minus 1. So we're going to have x to the power of negative 3. So instead of writing it, I'm just write it right there. Start going a little bit faster. This is negative 12. Negative 4 times 3 is 12. But since it has a negative, it's going to be negative. Minus 1. It's going to be x to the power of negative 5. So we just write it in the bottom. Alright. Now we have 5 times negative 2 over 5. That's going to be y prime is equal to negative 10 over 5. You can simplify this, but we'll do that afterward. Let's subtract 1, x to the power of 4. Then we have x to the power of 3 over 4 times 1. Same thing. We're doing 1 times 3 over 4. That's all we're doing. 1 times 3 over 4 is, guess what? 3 over 4. This might be the tricky part, though, again. Subtract 1. What does that mean? We're going to have 3 over 4. Subtract. And what did we say? We want it to be the same as that. So we're going to multiply. Since 1 over 1 is the same thing as 1, we want this to be 4. And to do that, we multiplied the bottom by 4. All we did was multiply the bottom by 4. And whatever we do to the bottom, we do to the top. So it's going to be 4 over 4. 3 minus 4 is negative 1. And these, you don't do anything with them. Just keep it. So that means x to the power of negative 1/4. This, negative 1 times 2 is negative 2. X, subtract 1 right here. Power of negative 2. We're going to rewrite this. 10 over 5 is just 2. And then x to the power of 4 plus 3 over 4. The x to the power of negative 1 over 4 is negative. So we're going to write to the power of 1 over 4. But it's going to go on the bottom. Minus 2. The x has a negative exponent. So we're just going to do that. Right here. We're going to multiply that. Well, that's going to look like is like this. 3 times 5, 15. 2 times 3, 6. And then we get the x. We subtract 1. That's going to look like 5 over 3 minus, what did we say? We want the denominator to be the same. It's basically 1 over 1. You multiply 3 in the bottom, so you multiply 3 on the top. That gives you 5 minus 3 is 2 over 3. So you're going to end up with 2 over 3. It's a positive though, so we're not going to move it to the bottom. So we're good like that. This is the same thing as saying 1 over 4 times 4 over 3. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. This you can simplify into 1 over 3. 1 over 3. Then x, subtract 1. Same thing as 4 over 3 minus 3 over 3. 4 minus 3 is 1. We keep the denominator the same. So 1 over 3. Right here, we just multiply -5 by -5. That gives us positive, and we subtract 1. That's going to be x to the power 6 because -5 minus 1 is negative. And since it's a power to the negative, we're going to move it to the bottom. Um, 25. Multiply this is the same thing as saying -1 over 5 times 5 over 4, which is equal to -5 over 20, which is the same thing as -1 over 4. Because the 5, you can divide this by 5, divide this by 5, what's 5 divided by 5? 1. What's 20 divided by 5? 4. And then we're going to get x, and we're going to subtract 1. That's the same thing as saying 5 over 4 minus 4 over 4 is equal to 1 over 4. And then we're going to get this. So that's the same thing as saying 1 over 4 times 1 over 5, which is just -1 over 20. So we're going to have y prime is equal to, and then like we wrote down there, 1 over 4x to the power of 1 over 4. And then we write down our x from here, and we subtract 1. This is the same thing as saying 1 over 5 minus 5 over 5. That's -4 over 5. So -4 over 5. So we write that. We're going to have minus x. Damn, actually, we're going to rewrite that as 1 over 20x to the power of 4 over 5. Where's my answers? 25. Not gonna lie, I should have been checking all these answers. But I believe in myself, so let me just check if I've been writing all of these right. 3 over 5, 24 is 5x -5x. 24. Oh, you just simplify for 24 minus x. Yep. Yep. Alright, if I gotten any wrong so far, I'm sorry. I haven't been checking my answers. Now I'm gonna start checking my answers. I'm not gonna lie, I've been kind of just hoping for the best. So far, from what I'm seeing, I've been getting them right. So, where's my answer for this one? 16.3. Yep. You know what, I'm gonna just trust myself. All right. I'm gonna keep going. 26. I'm gonna do times 5. 2 over. I'm hoping that's a 3, but I can't tell with my handwriting. That is a 3. Times 5, which is -10 over 3. And then we have the x minus 1, which is 4. So we're going to bring this over here for our first one. See if I'm doing this right. Yep. And then for this one right here, -1 times -4 over 3. That's just going to be -4 over 3 times -1. And that's just 4 over 3. And that's x, subtract 1, power -2. So this is just plus 4 over 3x to the power of 2. Multiply by -5 right here. 2 over 5 times -5 is -10 over 5. And then x and then minus 1 to the power of -6. -10 over 5, that simplifies to 2 because 10 divided by 5 is 2. But since 10 is negative, it's going to be -2. And then x goes to the bottom. Just like that. See if I got that right. Yeah. 27. This should be simple. 4x and then minus 1 should just be 3. 3 times negative 4 is just negative 12. X and then subtract 1. That's going to give you 2. And right here, this is the same thing as saying 2 over 5 times negative 4, which is negative 8 over 5. So negative 8 over 5. Then subtract 1. That's x to the power of negative 5, so it's going to go down. Should be answer. 28. Multiply that. That's the same thing as saying 5 over 3 times 4, which is just 20 over 3. Subtract 1. You get x to the power of 3. Then for the other one, you have 3 over 5 and then times 5 over 4. You're going to get 15 over 20. This simplifies by 5. So 15 divided by 5 is 3. 20 divided by 5 is 4. We're just simplifying them like this. And then we have our x, and we subtract 1. That means 5 over 4 minus 4 over 4. It's basically the same thing. And we get 1 over 4. So x to the power of 1 over 4. And then negative 1 times negative 1 over 4 is the same thing as just 1 over 4, positive. Subtract 1, that's x to the power of negative 2. So x to the power of 2, since it goes in the bottom. So then y prime is equal to 20 over 3. X to the power of 3. Plus 3 over 4x. 1 to the power of 4 plus 1 over 4x squared. 28. Yep. Okay. 29. Multiply that. That's the same thing as saying 1 over 3 times 4 over 5, which is negative 4 over 15. Can't simplify that. You get x. Subtract this by 1. That's the same thing as saying 4 over 5 minus 5 over 5. And that's negative 1 over 5. So that's negative 4x to the power of negative 1 over 5 over 15. It's the first part right here. This is the same thing as saying 2 over 3 times 1 over 3, which is just 2 over 9. Then you subtract 1 from the top. It's the same thing as saying 1 over 3 times minus 3 over 3, which is just negative 2 over 3. So it's x to the power of negative 2 over 3. And this is just 2 times negative 5, which is negative 10. Then x, subtract 1, negative 6. So then we're going to combine everything. So we're going to get this, negative 4. And then since it's a negative 1 over 5, we're going to get 15. X to the power of negative 1. 1 over 5 plus 2 over 9. 2 over 9. And then to the power of negative 2 over 3. It's going to go to the bottom. And minus 10. And then we have x to the power of negative 6. So it's going to be to the power of 6 at the bottom. See if I got that right. Yep. Oh, by the way, this I did not mean to add that. It's a positive. Sorry, it's a positive. 29. Yeah, I'm good. Okay. That's the same thing as saying negative 2 times 5 equals negative 10. I'm gonna just multiply the numbers. The subtracting, I'm pretty sure you can do. So 4 times 1 over 3. It's just 4 over 3. And then negative 5 times negative 5 is equal to 25. I just did this one first, then the second, and then the third. Right? So then we have y prime is equal to negative 10. And we subtract 1. X to the power of 4. Then plus 4 over 3. Subtract 1 from the x. That's x to the power of 3. And then we got 25 plus 25. But then the power is going to be subtracted by 1. And you're going to get x to the power of 6. Let me check that. Yep. Okay. We got just 20 more problems to go. Oh, just 20 more problems. We're just going to speed through this. 5 over 3 times 5 over 2, 25, negative 25 over 6. Then the second part is going to be 4 over 3 times negative 3, which is just negative 12 over 3, which is just negative 4. And the last part is just 2 times negative 4, which is just negative 8. So we're going to have y prime is equal to negative 25 over 6. And then to the power of x, minus 1. That's just 5 over 2 minus 2 over 2, and you're going to get 3 over 2. And then minus 4, and then subtract 1. That's going to be negative 4, so you're going to get to the power of 4. And you're going to get negative 8. And subtract it to the power of 1. And you're going to get x to the power of 5. Next one. 3 times 4 is just 12. 3 times 4, so we're just going to go like this. 12x, and then subtract 4 from 3. Subtract 1 from 4. Sorry, I don't even know what I'm saying. 4 minus 1 is just 3. Then 1 over 5, negative 1 over 5 times negative 2 is just 2 over 5. So we're going to have plus 2 over 5. Subtract 1, that's x to the power of negative 3, so it's going to go down. And then negative 5 over 2 times negative 3. Same thing as negative 15 over 2. So then that's just, that's positive. Positive negative times the negative 15 over 2. 15 over 2. Subtract 1 from the top. X to the power of 4. Multiply that. Oh, let me check my answer. 30, 32. Let me check my other answer. Yeah. 32. Yep, it should be like that. Alright. Then 1 over 3 times 2 over 3 is 2 over 9. And then we have for the second part 3 over 5. Multiply times 1 over 2 is equal to 3 over 10. For this other part, negative 3 times 1 over 3, that was loud, which is going to be negative 3 over 3, which is just negative 1. So we have y prime is equal to 2 over 9, x, as in back up, 2 over 3 minus 3 over 3. It's going to give you negative 1 over 3. It's going to be like that. And then plus 3 over 10. And then minus 1 right here. So it's half minus 2 over 2, which is going to be x to the power of negative half. So if it's negative, we're just going to put it to the bottom. Then minus 1. So then that's just going to be minus x. But the x goes in the bottom. So then you're just going to have over 3. We subtract 1, which is the same thing as saying 1 over 3 minus 3 over 3, which is just negative 2 over 3. Let me see if I'm right. 33. Yep. Yep, okay. 3 times 4 is just 12. 2 times 5 over 3 is just 10 over 3. So then it's just going to be y prime is equal to 12x. Subtract 1. That's 3. Plus, and then we got 10 over 3. And then minus 1. But that's 3 over 3, basically. So then you're going to have times x to the power of 2 over 3. 5 over 3 minus 3 over 3. Just 2 over 3. And then the last one, you should know, is just 5. Alright, we're almost done. We just need 15 more. I was about to say 25. Okay. Sorry, I was stretching. 35. 35. 4 times 2 is 8. Damn, these are getting really easy. I'm not gonna lie. I think I'm gonna just zoom through this one, right? 2 times 4 is 8, and subtract 4 by 1 is just 3, and negative 2 times 3 is 6, and then to the power of, yep, I'm not even gonna say nothing. If you don't understand this one, yeah, I don't really know. I don't really know what to tell you. I'm just kidding. If you can't solve it, just go look at the past examples. Try your best. Just ask a question during class. Um, Sorry that sounded mean. Just I'm really tired. I don't want to finish this. Anyways. Do that. Negative 3 times 2 is 6. Negative 6 over 5. Yeah. And x. Subtract 1. So you're just going to have negative 6 over 5x. Then 2 times 2 over 3 is the same thing as 4 over 3. When I say same as, I mean like is equal to, alright? I just realized that. Subtract 1. 2 over 3. Yeah, like that. 2 minus 3 is just negative 1. And then the denominator stays the same, so then it's just x to the power of negative 1 over 3. We'll move it to the bottom when we finish the equation. 1 over 4 times negative 2 is just negative a half. Christian is calling me. Shout out to Christian. You're calling me, so put yourself in the video. Anyways. Damn, I distracted myself. And then subtract 1. Just going to have x to the power of negative 3. So then our final equation is going to be negative 6 over 5x plus